Metamorphosis. It's podcast number 2. Today we're going to be discussing hormone health and a new path in care. Today our guests are Deanna Woodroffe. She is the Vibrant Health practitioner and owner of Vibrant Health. And next to her is her patient, Shirley. So welcome, ladies. Thank you for being here today. I appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting us.
So today's episode, we're going to be talking in conversations about real experiences regarding hormone health and why healthcare models like Vibrant Health are evolving. So Deanna, why don't you kick us off and get us started? Why don't you give us a little bit of background of who you are and how Vibrant Health came to exist?
Sure. So I am a nurse practitioner. I have been for just about 20 years. I was really lucky. As soon as I came out of school, the doctor that I worked with for the first time was already working with bioidentical hormones. And at that time, it was really unheard of. No one knew what that meant or what that was. And so that was kind of the foundation of my career. And I've seen how hormones change lives for so many people. So it just became my passion. I worked for 15 years in St. Louis doing hormones and integrative medicine, along with OBGYN care. And then I have been here in Colorado now for almost 7 years doing the same thing.
That's awesome. I know that there's a lot of misnomers, especially 20 years ago, circling around HRT, how it maybe increased risk for heart attacks or I'm not even clear as where that rumor really began.
Yeah. So yes, around the same time that I came out of school, the Women's Health Initiative was a study that was really in progress at the time. And it was supposed to be the gold standard of hormones and the benefits and the risks. And, it's a long story to go into the whole Women's Health Initiative. But bottom line is there were some flaws in the study, which caused some inconsistent results. But even more frustrating than that is the information that was found in the study. It was just not given out, I guess, to the healthcare world in a very consistent or accurate way. So a lot of things were taken out of context in that study. And so for 20 years, so many providers were terrified of hormones. And I think we really caused a lot of harm for a lot of women.
Yeah, that's fascinating to me because, what I've experienced that the majority of healthcare professionals, providers, you have coverage, but it doesn't necessarily cover anything related to hormones or balancing or anything like that. So I'm so grateful that Vibrant Health exists to really help women like myself and Shirley reclaim our energy, reclaim our lives, reclaim everything that we need to feel human again.
Yeah.
So Shirley, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My history goes back a long way. The first dealings I had with understanding that your hormones, how affected you are by your hormones, was postpartum depression. And I tried to seek help here. Couldn't get any help other than you're depressed, take antidepressants. And I had 3 children. And so I researched what they were doing in the UK.
Because that's where you're from.
Yes.
Okay.
And they had a time, one woman who's written a lot, Katarina Dalton, who basically was the pioneer of hormone health. That's 38 years ago.
Wow.
And so I traveled back to England and stayed for a year to have treatment with her. But unfortunately, she was limited. Everybody was limited to one thing, and she was writing books and begging for help. So it did help me somewhat, but I realized at that point that I had to pursue hormone health. And I think raising children, I kind of let that slide. And fast forward to menopause, which was a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. And when I would try to seek help, I was almost ridiculed by doctors because this is part of your aging and you just have to accept it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was not, to say I wasn't happy, and my life was destroyed really by hormone health or ill health, it's an understatement.
It's interesting to me because, I'm just beginning this perimenopause journey from hell. But one thing I've noticed is that I don't feel like myself. I definitely feel like I'm going through this evolution, good, bad, or indifferent. But some days I feel awful. And then other days I feel, relatively normal. But, I've been doing a lot of research at the end of this and trying to understand, like, I'm not crazy. This is a normal process of life, all the things. But through my research, it seems like a lot of women aged between 35 and 55, this is when we're most at risk for suicide, depressive, manic episodes. I mean, it goes on. And I'm so glad that you guys were able to find each other. It sounds like you're feeling a lot better.
Oh, feeling better, regaining my life. And the thing of it is, I knew it, but I only knew it to a very small degree. My husband was suffering terribly. We were suffering together. And he's the one who said, you can't live like this. No woman should have to go through this. But when he would say it, I didn't think it was that bad. I'd think, well, he said, you're not yourself. You don't see yourself. I see you. And you're not there. And it broke my heart to see him so upset.
Yeah.
So I just resigned to, I hope I don't wake up. That's really, and to find somebody who heard that and could see and say, you don't have to live like this. I know what you need.
Yeah.
And then educate me. Not just throw something at me, but educate me. Bear with me when I was even reluctant to begin, because you hear so many bad stories. You don't know
what's true, what's real.
No.
And it feels like it's such a unique approach because every woman is built a little bit differently.
That was the key for me.
Yeah.
Is that when I met you, you knew I was not the same as the person you saw before. I might not need what somebody else needed. And you didn't get hardly. And it was it was to me miraculous because I didn't recognize when the joy came back in my life and everything turned around. I realized how bad it should be.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, you have such a wonderfully supportive partner who is kind of like your guide, maybe just saying, there's some red flags going up here and you don't see them.
No, he was heartbroken. He almost cried when I told him I didn't want to wake up.
Oh, like that. I'm sure he was heartbroken.
He couldn't believe that. He couldn't believe that the doctors he was taking, we went to doctors together.
Mm-hmm.
And, because I was given the wrong information and the wrong hormones for me.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the wrong for somebody else, but the wrong ones for me. I ended up with pulmonary embolism. He died in the hospital. And he saw those things and was like, why did they do that?
Yeah.
And not educate you about what you're taking, what you're doing.
I'm sure you felt like you were just shoved into a box.
Totally.
Right. Okay. That's really interesting because I've experienced some of that just at a very high level, trying to get questions answered. And you have maybe 10 minutes with the doctor. If you're lucky, you're just being rushed. Go. Your blood work's fine. Okay. On to the next. Like, you just feel like you're shoved in a box of like, this is how the general population is treated for these symptoms.
Right.
And we're going to try. And I understand that there's trial and error and everything, especially in the corners, but it's refreshing when you actually feel like you've met somebody who is a teammate for your help instead of somebody that you have to get around to get with you.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, my husband, he's funny. Every woman we meet with sort of menopause age, and they say, oh, I don't want to let him. It is. You need Deanna.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Just man, oh, you don't need to put up with that. You help her. Take it to Deanna. She's better.
So, Deanna, for our listeners who may not know what hormone help is, why is it so often misunderstood?
Oh my gosh, there's so many reasons. Yeah, there's so many reasons. I think it starts with a lack of education and awareness. So whether you're in medical school or nursing school, there's just not a lot of emphasis put on menopause care, on perimenopause, on that transition, on hormone replacement therapy. For decades now, everyone has been so afraid of hormones because of the Women's Health Initiative, that there just hasn't been a lot of conversation around it. So that's part of it. We just aren't taught that. If you really, really want to understand menopause, perimenopause, and hormone replacement, you have to go on. It has to be something that you're really interested in and that you go on to learn more about. So there's a lot of lack of information. There's a lot of fear. And then you combine that with how medicine is today in this country, where, like you said, you have 10 minutes, 15 minutes, even 20 minutes is not enough time to really evaluate someone's history, their symptoms, to educate them about hormones, what their options are, because there are so many options to talk about the risks and the benefits. And so first you have to understand and be aware, and then you have to have time to talk about it. So I would say those are the biggest things that kind of get in the way. And kind of like what you were talking about, I think especially as women, we're busy, right? We're working, we're taking care of kids or parents or both. We have relationships. And so a lot of women don't realize how bad it's gotten, that you kind of like slowly sink into this hormone imbalance, and you don't realize how tired you are or how irritable or anxious or depressed. And so, it can be really overwhelming when a woman comes in with so many symptoms. And I think especially for healthcare providers that don't have the tools, they don't have the knowledge and the experience with hormones, so they can be overwhelmed and not sure, what to do next. And so I think it's a combination of things.
That's interesting. As you were talking, I kind of giggled a little bit because we were talking about just outbursts of rage. Like I have been rage cleaning my house, and rage vacuuming, rage mopping, like rage sweeping. Everything is rageful.
Yeah.
And I feel really bad for my husband sometimes. I'm like, you just don't want to go there. Like, I would leave the house, leave me alone just for a little bit. I'll figure it out. But right now, like, just not in a good place. It's really interesting to me because I find, and I have a lot of girlfriends of my age demographic who are kind of going through similar things.
Yeah.
So I'm 46. I just left my kind of corporate career, so to speak, of almost 30 years of being in the construction industry. I don't know. I just felt like I wasn't as resilient for it anymore. Like anything, a lot of things were just unnerving. That's probably a really good word to use. And I also just kind of felt like I couldn't maintain that pace anymore. So then I decided to go into business for myself for 2 separate companies. But, at least then it's mine. Like, then you don't have to check with 12 different people about making a single decision. And I don't know. So far it's been lovely, but I gotta tell you, like the anxiety that comes with things. I mean, I'm so grateful that I have a low grade, lorazepam, I can never pronounce it. Like it's just when you're going into critical mass, like you need help. Sometimes you can't think your way calm. Right. And I'm sure, Shirley, you've had some experiences like that. Why don't you share some of that with us and kind of the aha moment?
I think for me, having 3 sons.
3 sons, that's a lot. It's a lot of testosterone.
Yeah. I'm kind of on an even level with them now. But I found anxiety, I cope with it. When I was really into an inability to cope with life, I just didn't know what to do. I was constantly reaching that edge of the cliff. What am I going to do? That's gone.
Oh, that's good.
It's not in my life anymore. And I find I just do it. I just get through things with that same energy and resilience I had when I was a lot younger.
Yeah. I see that a lot. That's huge. It is. I think we still need studies. I don't know that we fully understand why this happens, but one of the most common symptoms I see in perimenopausal and menopausal women is this overwhelm. they were managing their lives. They were busy. They were, doing all of the things and handling all the things. And all of a sudden, life stress is too much. For me, that's one of the biggest things I noticed when my hormones started to change, is that things that were very easy for me before were not easy anymore. Like, as silly as it sounded, something as simple as walking my dog felt like I couldn't do it. It was like, this is the end.
Yeah. It was like scaling the Great Wall of China or something. Like, even to make a sandwich, you're like, I can't believe there's so many steps.
Yes. And it affects your brain, your cognitive function. We start to feel like very ADD, we can't focus, we can't think, we can't remember, we're irritable and tired, or we're not sleeping. I mean, it affects, hormones affect every part of your body, your brain, your personality, and your life, and your partner. If your kids, it affects them.
It does. Yeah, it does. And I know I was flying off the handle when my children were young, and I was going through personal illness. I was flying off the handle. I couldn't cope, couldn't do anything. And unfortunately, when I would go to doctors, they wanted to dull you down without dealing with absolutely anything, really. And when I was given treatment in England, I was, unfortunately, they were limited on what they could do for you. And what they were doing for you was once daily progesterone injection.
Ouch. That's awful.
It was awful. It was awesome. But for the day, you felt never. And so I continued to do them literally till I could hardly move from all the shots in my body. And then I thought there has to be something better.
Yeah.
And so I did fall into the antidepressant. Because I was lost.
Yeah. You want an escape. You're feeling like that.
And coming back to the States, I kept going to doctors, and they just said, this is just part of having children. This is just part of it. And I think I dealt with it as best I could by using other things in my life to compensate. But none of them. I was sad once I really knew I was back, because I thought of all the years I missed. And I really didn't miss them.
Yeah.
And my children missed them. They missed me. So I can't say enough about the brain effect of your hormones being imbalanced. There are a lot of physical. You lose your libido, you lose your joy, you lose everything.
Yeah, it's just like this general loyalty.
It's a malaise.
It's like a cloud.
But it is a cloud.
It's what it feels like.
Big black cloud down over you. And I told you, driving down the road, coming back from my son's house. So this would be 4 years ago. And I was listening to the radio, and I thought, I need to stop this car and dial. It's like, who is this person driving this car? And I put down and being happy. And for the first time in years, I was full of joy. I didn't realize I was living without joy. The man I loved, the children I loved, beautiful home, everything was there. No joy.
But behind the scenes, you faced a considerable challenge. Insurance.
Definitely.
Why don't you talk through that a little bit? Tell us your story.
So it has been my passion for 20 years to take insurance in an office that offers hormone therapy and integrative or functional medicine, mostly because I had my own experience in my 20s. I had a lot of symptoms no one could help me with. I'd seen a ton of doctors. And I finally found a functional provider. And for the first time, I felt heard and I felt listened to, and I knew there was hope and there was a plan. And when they sat me down after I met with the doctor, they sat me down to talk about the plan for the year. And I don't remember exactly how much, but I know it was thousands of dollars. I know over $5,000. And at 22, there was no way. Even if I wanted to, there's no way I could. And I just remember how hopeless I felt after that. And so I think that's why I ended up in integrative medicine. And so I've always been passionate about taking insurance because I think this is good quality healthcare. I think everyone deserves access to it. I don't think it should be based on how much money you make. And so I've always taken insurance. And over the last 5 to 7 years, it has just gotten so much harder. Every year, insurance companies reimburse less. They pay for less. Patients, understandably, are so frustrated. They pay so much every month in premiums, and then nothing's covered. And so, we field a lot of really angry calls about, bills that patients are getting. And so what I found is that insurance just makes it really hard to give good quality care. You're so concerned about how many patients you're seeing every day, and that if you want to provide good care, that can't be your focus. You need time, especially in functional medicine. We want to look at a big history. We want to do a lot of testing, extensive testing to see where things can be optimized. And it just has gotten impossible to do that in an insurance-based model.
It's going to be unfortunate. So what are your plans to avert that?
Yeah, so our goal is to have a membership program where, there are no hidden costs, and then there are no surprise bills or deductibles or things like that. So basically the way it works, and a lot of even traditional primary care offices have started to go in this direction for the same reason. We need more time to be able to provide the kind of care we want to provide. So in a membership-based model, there's a monthly fee. And for that monthly fee, you get access to your providers and to the office. It covers all of your care in the office. It covers the time you spend in the office. There's benefit to both. The benefit to the practice is that there are fewer patients, because with a membership model, you limit how many memberships you'll take. So there are fewer patients. You can give more time to each patient. And then for patients, it means that you get comprehensive care. You don't have to worry about bills or things like that. And you have more access. I mean, right now, I think we're booking out to November or later, maybe December. It can take 2 or 3 months to get in, and that's not good care. If something's going on with you, you aren't being seen. And so it gives patients more access to their provider. We can get you in quicker because we have more time. We can spend more time, whether that's on the phone or on telehealth or in person. It just gives us the ability to get better care without all of the constrangulations of insurance and bureaucracy. Yes, absolutely.
Well, so in that membership model, I'm not even quite sure your entire list of scope of service.
What would that include? So we have 2 offices. We have one in Lone Tree and one in Eagle. In Lone Tree, it's really in both. It's comprehensive care. So we do all traditional primary care. So if you're sick or you're injured, we can evaluate that and treat. We do physicals, your annual physical, whether that's more of a primary care physical or kind of your annual gynecological exam. And then my providers also work a lot in functional medicine realm. So we do a lot of gut health and chronic fatigue, irritable bowel, things that just these chronic conditions that it's really hard to find help for in traditional medicine. And then, of course, we do hormones. We optimize thyroid. We work a lot with weight loss.
All right, very cool. It sounds like it's almost everything with the exception of maybe surgeries.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. If you needed surgery or you need a specialist of some sort, obviously if you need a colonoscopy or a mammogram, those are things that we don't in fact combine.
What price range are you guys thinking for a monthly fee? And is there an option for somebody, say, with a health savings account or a flexible savings account that just paid for the year?
Sure. So the health savings account, it depends on the account. There was a bill just passed that allows most people to use their health savings account for a monthly membership. But there's a lot of red tape in there. I think there are limitations for some as far as how much they can pay per month. And so you'd have to check with your HSA, but most people can use it for a membership fee, to some amount.
Okay.
As far as price, we're still kind of looking at that because we sit somewhere in the middle. There's something called direct primary care, which is when, fairly traditional primary care offices move to a membership-based model, and it includes your primary care, kind of all the primary care that you need. And then there are functional medicine memberships, which are generally much more expensive. You might see them anywhere between $500 and $1,000 or more per month. Yep, they're very expensive. And so we sit in the middle. Okay, we want this to be affordable. We want people to be able to access this. And we also know that we include a lot of services in our plan. So I don't know for sure. I think we've been looking around, between $200 and $300 a month. And we're still kind of landing on that. But we want to make it affordable and worth it, to as many people as possible.
No, that's great. Do you think that maybe for younger people who don't necessarily need the functional side and they're just wanting primary care, would you offer like maybe tiered?
So we've thought about that. I just don't know yet. I don't have the details. It's kind of hard. It's hard to have, different tiers, but it's possible. Okay. Look at that.
Well, that sounds awesome. That sounds really cool. And Eagle is your newest location, right? Are you guys open for business?
Yeah. No, we are open.
Okay. When did that open?
So we actually opened in Eagle 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
But what we offered was just a little bit limited. We weren't doing primary care for gynecology. We were mostly doing hormones and gut health and weight loss. So now we've brought on another nurse practitioner and we're in a bigger space. So we're trying to, kind of offer the same thing we do here, just that comprehensive approach. We really want to build relationships with our patients. Membership makes that easier too. So we want to build relationships and be able to, offer kind of most of the care that they need.
So, and I heard a rumor you started in Eagle because of Shirley. Is that right?
Yeah, I would say Shirley was the guiding force of that.
I'm begging you.
Yeah.
I really,
yeah,
because that's where I lived and there was nothing.
Yeah. So you had to drive all the way from Eagle Vale, all the way to Denver.
I would have come from another country. And I would come and see Deanna because it was my primary care and my gynecology.
Yeah.
All in that practice. And, I even advocate to younger people because a lot of young women suffer terribly with menstrual cycle. And that's something, if they stomach the care there, it leads on. And in the valley, in the Bell Valley, there was nothing. I mean, all what was offered was almost dangerous to me.
Yeah.
I'm sure that other people have found benefits in other ways, but I just kept saying to Deanna, we need help.
Yeah.
The Bell Valley needs help.
Yeah, we had a lot of patients and still do driving down from Vail. And so we thought about it for a long time. We talked about it for years and then it just kind of happened as it does. The doors opened, I guess, and we've loved it up there. So we just opened the bigger space not too long ago. So we're excited.
Where is it located?
We are in Eagle Ranch.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. I'm not that familiar with Eagle versus Vail, but yeah, it's probably what.
It's about 30.
It's very accessible.
Yeah, I think it's 30 minutes.
Oh, about 30 minutes. Very accessible. Yeah, it's where, people use Eagle who live in the Vale Valley to go and do shopping and things. So it's very accessible to go to Eagle. Congrats on opening 2 years ago, but now it's bigger, better, bolder.
Yeah, no.
Okay, that's amazing. Well, you can incorporate Summit County too.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Because they just need help up then.
Yeah.
So Shirley, from your perspective, this pivot from insurance-based to now a membership-based, how does that change anything for you?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No. I think when I told you we were going to move, we were thinking of moving to Portugal. Do you like Portugal?
Let me take Deanna with you. What about the rest about it?
Oh, I need to. I won't. I will not change. I can never go back.
But actually, never go back. You guys have the cutest relationship. I love watching your fanfare. Just kind of go.
Do you know how hard it is to find somebody that connects with you and understands you and can help you and will do anything in explanation and treatments? I mean, the whole practice has helped me so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And I think what I get most excited about, both about Lone Tree, which of course has been around longer, and about the Office and Eagle, is we all are like that. I can always say to a patient, it doesn't matter which provider you see. All of my providers practice that is so true in a similar way. We're all we're going to listen, and we're going to dig deep to try to figure out what's wrong. Everyone's bedside manner is fantastic. I just think we're a group of practitioners that really, really cares about not only our patients and their health, but also, what people think about our office, and that people feel.
Well, I remember with Buddy, we went to Christmas at Palace, and we both got COVID, and then we got things after COVID, and called the practice from Paris. And they told me what to go on, get in the pharmacy, everything. And so by the time we came back, we were both getting better. But we had other things go wrong. And it was just a one-stop shop. And called the practice, told them what was going on. And they told me what to do at the pharmacy, what to tell the pharmacist.
That's amazing. There's nothing worse than being sick on vacation.
No, it's terrible.
Yeah.
But I mean, I cannot think of any other practice I've ever been with that was there for me here, overseas. It didn't matter. They would put me on telehealth, done anything to get me through that situation.
That's amazing. Kind of pivoting now and discussing the future of women's health. What hope do you have for the future of women's health?
So I actually have a lot of hope. I do think we have a long way to go. But the changes that have happened, really, I would say in the last 5 years, 20 years ago when I started and I was doing hormones, it was so painful. Every time I put a woman on hormones, she would go see another provider or see her primary care, and she would come back and they would have told her that what I was doing was going to kill her. It was very dangerous and hormones were unsafe. And that was the norm. Like I had to explain to patients for the last 20 years that hormones, were safe for them and are safe for most people, and the benefits of hormones. And so now it's very different. I think social media has become a big part of this. There are some really great OBGYNs that are on social media and, have gone viral with their videos. I think women are much more assertive about their needs because the information's out there. There's a lot more women now that will not just accept, maybe this is life for you, sorry, because they don't. They're watching women on social media. They're seeing that there are other options. So I have a lot of hope. I think, I think we need a lot more research on women's health. And so I do hope that starts to change. But I think women are demanding that. And so I do think we'll get there.
One thing that confuses me, women represent 50% of the entire globe's population. We invest money in our health.
Yep.
It is a massive industry for pharmaceuticals and all the things. So why isn't this being taken seriously?
That's a good question.
It's quite the enigma, isn't it?
It is. I still think it's knowledge. I think it's, medicine as a whole, it takes a long time to change. And again, this fear from the Women's Health Initiative has just come on. It's getting so much better. I see changes, but it's been 20 years. So
yeah, I feel like some celebrities are starting to advocate and having bigger, better conversations and leveraging their platforms for education.
Definitely. Yeah, which is great.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I listened to, is it Penny Rod Stewart's wife? That more sugar name. Yes, because she's a voluntary policewoman, and she was saying that when she was struggling so much with menopause, perimenopause, and her husband, Rod Stewart, was saying, I don't know you. And she spoke him on. She said, humbly. She didn't know that. And she managed to get help. But it was more when he was speaking out and talking about it.
Isn't that ridiculous? I get it. He's got a big platform. Thank you for all the hard work. Seriously. But, you're a dude. Why? It just drives me crazy. The people who should have the platforms are the people experienced they split and sing and touch and nuts. But, I just had one more question, and really it was for Shirley. We talked a little bit about the importance of collaboration, right? But I remember in kind of our outline session, you wanted to share why it's so important for women to share stories and break these taboos.
They have to. Yeah, have to, because the taboo is what stops women getting help. And I think I had listened to people giving me misinformation, I never would have got help.
Oh, interesting.
But talking to other women and listening to them, studying, researching through what women are actually going through, then I could start to say, why am I being misled so much? Really, the path of misinformation is one. And you really have to talk to women here. And you have to listen to their experiences and understand each one of us is so different that getting the right person who is not going to lump you into one little group and say, this is what women of your age need, and saying you, in your personal experience, in your life, your history, this is the path we're going on. Women can help women by understanding how different we are, but our needs have to be, we have to be helped, because basically we're a very powerful force if we get together and really do something about our health. And we cannot rely on a male dominant group unless they're supporting us.
Yeah. And I think that's the big thing I would say to all women everywhere. You have to advocate for yourself. You don't have to live this way. There are options. There are always options. And so if someone is scaring you about hormones, push that a little bit and ask them, what is the fear? What studies are you basing this on? What is my risk? And if your provider won't listen to you, find a provider that will. The only way to stay healthy, especially in medicine in this country, you have to advocate. You have to keep pushing.
So in closing, first of all, I just wanted to say, ladies, thank you so much for your time today and your vulnerability, sharing your stories and making the drive up to Denver so we could all be here together in person. I really appreciate it. I wanted to discuss some of the key takeaways just for our audience based off of the conversations that we've had here today and shared. I believe that women's stories matter. I believe that women's health matters. I believe that hormone health deserves time, attention, and investment. And I think that membership models like Byway Health are shifting healthcare in a meaningful way. So I would like to invite all of our listeners, and I know that our group is young, but hopefully growing soon. Learn more about Vibrant Health if you're interested. I will make sure to tag, embed, link, whatever that is. Bear with my technology vernacular. Share your story with Metamorphosis. We are looking for future collaborators. We are going to be doing a podcast a month pretty much for the next year, and then rolling into a first of its kind ever women's retreat in the Colorado Rockies, probably in September of next year. So I don't want to tell you too much because I'm still working on a lot of the details, but I'm also going to be looking for subject matter experts to come in, a call for speakers, people who are relevant to perimenopause, menopause, fertility support for women in this particular age demographic. So more to come on that. But please rate, follow, subscribe. And again, thank you, ladies, for being here today. I had a blast talking with you.
Thank you. That was great.